Hello, good people, and welcome to Bush Radio, the Amebo HQ of the whole wide world. Today, we are going to delve into an important discussion, because this particular topic has eaten deep into the fabrics of the people of this particular location. We are going to dissect the truth, the lies, what is real, and what is not real. A certain professor once said that the biggest and most deadliest thing that can happen to a man is not knowing who he is, where he's from, and the history of his people. And that is why this topic is sacrosanct. So I will indulge you if you are an Igbo man, if you are an Anioma person, you speak Enuani, you are Benin, you are Yoruba, you are Igala, because all this matter we won't talk about so concerns you. First of all, my name is Charles Chiedu, and I am your uncle. Some people call me the Lyrical Ancestor, and some people call me Bush Radio. Some people call me the Desert Warrior. I get many names, but for today, my name is Charles Chiedu. Now, let us define what Anioma is, and what Enuani is, and what Igbo is. Igbo is a people. A people. Over time, the word Igbo has been corrupted, by invaders like the Europeans and the rest of them. There was a time they called us Igbo. No Igbo man will call himself Igbo. It is because they cannot pronounce the word Igbo. They now say it's Igbo, and then they spell it based on what they pronounce. And then that's where you have the EBO or EBOE, Igbo. But the real pronunciation of the word Igbo is Igbo. IGBO. There was a certain time, just probably between the Civil War and the rest of it, or times before it, that they were calling it Igbo. And then I realized that within those time frame, there's this segregation. They want to call those from the lower Niger Igbo, and then those from the eastern part of Nigeria Igbo. No, it is wrong. We have to correct that. Igbo is Igbo. And then the question is, who are the Igbos? Genealogically, they are the Igboes. A family of language that has to do with the lower Congo. That is where you find the Igboid. And there are traits that makes you know who is part of the language family, the Igboids, genealogically. Now the question is, who are the Igbos? The Igbos are those who you can find in present day eastern/southern part of Nigeria. And there are common traits in Igbo land. So whether you find yourself in the east, in the west, or whatever part of the Niger, and these traits that I will mention is part of you, my brother, my sister, you are Igbo. But before I continue with that, let us define what a language is, what an ethnic group is, and what a sub-ethnic group is. Like I said earlier, Igbo is a people, a nation, that has been in existence from inception. Some school of thought believe that they are, the lost tribe of Israel, one of the lost tribes of Israel, who migrated from Egypt when they were sent to captivity in Egypt and all of that, because of the hard-heartedness, and they find a way all through Sudan, and then left, and then came down to where they are now. Another school of thoughts believe that they they started off where they are now when they, in somewhere in Aguleri. Eri. Eri happens to be the son of God. Do not forget that the name God is not strange. Even in the biblical history, the name God suggests one of the sons of Jacob, one of the children of Israel. Jacob, who himself is Israel. Now, I don't want to delve into that because I'm just trying to give you a brief history of, the Igbo people. Now, I just defined who an Igbo person is. The Igbo people speak their language called Igbo too. The language of the Igbo people is Igbo. Like for example, you can have a people and the name of their language will still be the name of the people. But there are cases where you can have a people but the name of their language is not the name of the people. For example, Syrians don't speak Syria because there is no language called Syria. Rather, they speak Arab. Arab is a people and a language. I am an Arabian and I speak Arab. I am an Igbo man and I speak Igbo. Now, between in this Igbo language, we have dialects, various dialects. Because this is where the confusion is. I want you guys to listen to me because this is going to be broad. We have various dialects. If you go to present day Anambra State, Imo State, Ebonyi State, the 5 eastern states, you have different dialects. They are Igbos, but they have dialects. Likewise, the lower Niger. When I say lower Niger, I'm referring to the people of Delta State, the Igbo people of Delta State. We have our dialects. And what is the name of our dialect? It is called Enuani. Enuani is not a people. Enuani is not a people. Enuani is a language, a dialect spoken by the Anioma people. And Anioma, like I said earlier, it's not like it has been there all along. No, Anioma is just a new phrase to define or describe the Igbo speaking people of Delta State. Now, I hear a lot of people say, I am not Igbo, I am not Bini, I am not this, I am Delta. How can you be Delta? For crying out loud. If you say you are Delta, probably you are even older than Delta States as a state. Now, what is a delta? A delta is the meeting point of various rivers. If there's a flow of river, because the river Niger comes this way, the river Bini comes this way, and they met and they spread, linking it to the ocean, to the sea. That is the definition of a delta. So, first of all, you have to know what is a delta. That is, by definition, that's what the delta is. And because these people are found in that area, that is why that area was named Delta State. Do not forget, Delta State is not Igbo land, so to speak. And I'll tell you why. Because in Delta State, we have the Igbo people, which is the major tribe or ethnic group in Delta State. Because if you check, the Igbo speaking part of Delta State has more local governments than every other tribe. You have the Igbos, you have the Ijos, you have the Urobos, you have the Isokos, you have the Ukbe, you have the what have you in Delta State. So it is fair to use a particular phrase or name to describe the Igbo speaking people of Delta State, which is where Anioma comes in. So Anioma by definition is a subgroup of the Igbo people. It is not important where they are situated. The most important thing is that they are linked by the river Niger, crossing of the river Niger. So a lot of people, because they are daft and myopic, they just think, no, the Igbo nation stops at Anambra State. Then after that river, it is not Igbo land because there is a river there. Who told you that? That is not true. Do you think that river? Now, another lie they told us, well, especially when I was growing up, our kids are suffering the same thing. They will tell us who was the person that discovered River Niger, and then they will tell us that the answer is Mungo Park. Who told you that is correct? It is the biggest racial onslaught ever recorded in the history of man. Oh, the white man came to know what we, that are aboriginals and indigenous people, has known. We have bathed in the River Niger, we have fished in the River Niger, we have traded in the River Niger, we have fought wars in the River Niger, we have crossed the River Niger, we have done exploits in the River Niger. And yet they are telling us that the person that discovered it is one Oyibo man will come out for Europe. Just waka come River Niger. So that is it. Anioma is a description of the sub-Igbo people in Delta State. That is why if you are an Igbo person in River State, you cannot be called Anioma. You probably will be called Ikwere. If you are an Igbo person in Kogi State, you cannot be called Anioma. Anioma is basically a descriptive name to describe the Igbo people of Delta State, because the whole of Delta not be Igbo. So the Igbo people part of Delta State are called Anioma people. And what is their ethnicity? Would you open your mouth? You where they claim say you go school, you are educated. Would you open your mouth to say that Anioma is an ethnic group? You go fail, because Anioma is not an ethnicity. No. Just go and check. It is not an ethnicity. Neither is Enuani an ethnicity. Enuani is a spoken language, a dialect. It is not the chief language. The chief language is Igbo. The dialect is Enuani. And it is specifically for those, for those Igbos who are situated in Delta States. Now, a lot of people come. Now, let us even go by the names that you have there. Enuani is an Igbo name. It is not a Bini name. I'm going somewhere. Enuani means the height of all grounds. Enu is up. Ani is down. The height of all grounds. That is Enuani. Then what is Anioma? Hausa, Yoruba, Bini, Ijo, Urobo. Nobody will say and the word Anioma is for them. Anioma simply means good land, fruitful land, a blessed land. These are all Igbo names. Now you will say, yeah, Anioma is not known in history past. No, yes, of course. But there are traits. Let us use logic here. Because a lot of people, like those who say Anioma is Benin. I'm going there. They will say, what is your proof? When you ask them for proof, they will say, okay, so and so person wrote this. And then when you check, that person is a Benin sympathizer in the name of historian. You have a lot of them who will tell you that the people of Anioma are Benins, and they will argue from the part of Obaeweka or Obaesigi, who actually was king in the kingdom when it expanded to becoming an empire. Every story of Anioma that these Benins are propagating started with Obaesigi. Yes. Because they will tell you that they mention Oba, right? Most of the stories, whether be it the ones that happened in Ishekiri land, the ones that happened in Lagos, or the ones that happened in İsele UKU, or any part, started with Obaesigi, and that was when the Benins started expanding the kingdom into becoming an empire. Now the question is, were the Igbo in existence before all of this? The answer is yes. Go and check it. The oldest kingdom in what is today known as Nigeria. It's Nri Kingdom, and Nri Kingdom is an Igbo kingdom. Mind you, Nri Kingdom did not cover the whole of Igbo land. There are other subgroups. And again, the Igbo people don't have a centralized government or leadership where, you know, they cover all Igbo land. No. In fact, it pains me, but I will say this because it is what has happened. The truth has to be told. Igbo communities go into war with other Igbo communities. They fight wars against themselves because there is no centralized leadership. You can't find where Benin kingdom is into war with another Benin kingdom. You know why? Because there is a centralized leadership and government in Benin kingdom, and they have a king. Benin is not two. Benin is one. Benin was, you know, what we have now, present day Benin. It's even still expanding because those interlands, they are expanding, and you know, they are still expanding. But what you have in today Benin kingdom is what Benin used to be as at that time, until it started expanding, going to the interland, go, you know, to the Robo land, the Isoko people's land, you know, the Jaws, the Shekiris, you know, they started expanding, going towards Igbo land, you know, Agbo, Ibanke, and all of that started, you know. And then, for crying out loud, our ancestors, when they don't have a centralized government, so you have a small community that does not have the backing of a major community, and you hear that the Benin emissaries are on their way to your kingdom. What they do most cases is that they send emissaries ahead, you know, ahead to meet these people and to pay, you know, submit themselves to them, pledge allegiance, or else they will be exposed for an attack. That was what was happening. They were scared of the invading Benin armies. And so what would the Benin do? They take advantage of that. Now, let me tell you, empires, like the British Empire, for example, when they go into a particular place, what they do is they find someone that is loyal to them, someone that is not Brit, that is not English. For example, let's assume the Indians. They will find someone that is loyal to them, that is an Indian, and make the person a king. The person listens to them, the person does their bidding. But the Benins don't do that. What the Benins do is this: they remove the king totally. Totally. They remove you totally. This is the fact. When they remove you totally, they place a royal blood. Somebody asked me a question. Okay, if that what I said was true, how come? How did it happen? When they don't even understand each other. This one doesn't. No, you don't even want to understand that an enemy is at your door to know. You don't even have to understand each other's language to know that there's an enemy at your door, and he wants your land. He wants your throne. He wants whatever you have. That is enough message to pass. And so when this person comes in and installs a king, they didn't just come one or two of them. They came prepared. They came with slaves. They came with royal bloods. They came with soldiers, military people. That is enough for them. They control your farming. They control your fishing. They control your business. They control your land. But they are also very careful, because the opium of the people is their tradition, their language, their music. You can take everything away from them, but you cannot take these three things. And that is what has remained in what is today known as Anioma, or what you call Enuani. İsele UKU. Now, somebody, they mentioned some name. I don't want to mention that because I don't believe that to be true. I know the Bini people, with all due respect. I see myself as part of them because I was born there. I know them. I know the Benin people too well that a Benin man will not give birth to a child, even if na Igbo woman born the pikin for her, then call her Okechukwu. It is not possible. Benin man not go give birth, even if, say, what are you telling me? I know what I'm saying. Present day Benin people will not do it, talk less of then when they were so into their culture, their tradition, their worships. Their ego was not be now when civilization don't come, they don't mellow down and know the average Benin person and how they hold their tradition, their culture, their names, their language, and their king. Talk less of that time. So the question is, what happened? If these places are Benin, so it means that they speak Benin. As at that time, let's assume they are Benin, they speak Benin, right? Then how did it happen that all of a sudden the names of those places changed from Benin names to Igbo names? All of a sudden they start speaking Igbo instead of Benin. All of a sudden they start abolishing Benin tradition and culture. All of a sudden they start having titles, kingship titles, chieftaincy titles that are not Benin. I will tell you for sure there are some influences of the Benin based on what I told you, that they came forcefully, so they definitely will influence the Aboriginal, indigenous people of that land. You have some few influences which you can trace. See, if you are not a student of history, you will go online, go everywhere and make a mess of yourself. And then everybody who listens to you will just laugh at you, except you are those who are propelling this lie. It is a lie from the pit of hell, and I am here to dissect it using common logic. Sometimes leave waiting they write for book, because a girl will write. Now person write down. Everybody has an allegiance to whatever they believe in. Imagine a Benin man will now come, now write a history book and tell me that Igbo people are Benin, or Igbo land is Benin, and then you say I should believe that nonsense because it is deemed as history. Use your brain.